Oh, hey, we got a guest in the studio. Can you hear Joe okay?
I can hear Joe.
You got the crap microphone.
We flip mics. All right, we're gonna do a little studio version here. I think it's a great idea to have a non-functional microphone in the studio just in case somebody accidentally talks on it once in a while.
Right. It's like, having the neighbors over and you didn't vacuum. I mean, okay. Now, Coach, can you hear it all right?
There might be some people who say that we're glad that he doesn't have a good microphone.
Well, he's got a good one now. Coach Chris Daleo is here in the studio with us. How are you, man? Good to see you.
I'm doing well. I just got back in the States a week and a half ago.
From Thailand, right? Is that where you initially started, but then there's been some hopping around since then?
Yes, because we had to play in the FIBA Asia Cup in the Philippines. So, but realistically, that was such, COVID throughout that entire region is going crazy, and they're just locked down, shut down. Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, Singapore, they're all in the same boat. No vaccinations, no nothing. There literally are people begging for food in the streets because the government is just shutting everything down. And that was the closest thing I've ever been to prison.
I bet.
Because I wasn't allowed, for 5 months when I landed, this time around, I had to do quarantine for 2 weeks, and you weren't allowed to leave your room.
Wow.
Yeah, and then when I left quarantine, I had to do 2 months worth of lockdown, where at least I was back in my apartment, but there was nothing going on. Then it kind of cleared up, but we had to do the FIBA Asia Cup versus Korea and Indonesia. So we did 2 weeks worth of basketball, which really was a mess because guys were out of shape and everything else. I flew over there for a week, played, and then had to do quarantine coming back for another 2 weeks.
Wow.
And then the lockdown started again, and I'm just like, this is crazy. I'm going home, and they're like,
I got to go.
Yeah, we're not paying you anymore because you're not doing basketball. This is a big mess. And so I'm like, screw it, I'm going home.
I don't blame you. And then you look at the Olympics going on in Japan, which isn't in much better stead than some of the places that you mentioned.
It's just funny because here in the States now, things have been opening up, and whether you're vaccinated or not vaccinated, that's not an issue with me. It's just like, but things are going. But there is like literally they had to drive me to the airport, but there's a lockdown on the highways from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. You can't even be out or you'll be arrested. So my flight was at midnight. So normally they would pick me up at 7, but they had to pick me up at 5, because they didn't want to be out on the highways.
Right.
It's like little things like that. For when you coach overseas, people don't understand. They always think, oh, it's so romantic, or the thrill of it and everything else. But after a while, it really grinds on you, because you're just like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I was part of it, and I don't want to go back.
Coach, when and how did you end up get to coach overseas?
You know what? A couple players that played for me in the past had played for High Tech, which is the professional team. They needed a coach, and they talked me up. So that's how I originally got the job. That was 4 years ago. And then from there, I had good success, won championships, kept going back, and everything was fine. They were paying me. Everything was good. And then I parlayed that into their national team coach for the women for their Olympics is their Southeast Asia Games, and where I took them to the silver, which they never did before. And then after that, they said, okay, we're going to put you in the men's position for the Olympic team. So then I did the men's team just recently, and we won the silver in that, which they never did before. So
outstanding.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I got there and the success that I've had there. But yeah, me personally, as I sit here now, I don't want to go back because I think the chapter's closed. I've been there 4 years. I think I've taken it as far as I can take it, and so I'm just looking for something else.
And that's the thing, and Joe and I were talking about this earlier. Why are you not an NBA coach right now?
Oh, I don't know. It's networking.
You have the skill set. You have the experience. You know what you're doing. Any team would benefit from having you at the head.
Well, I appreciate it. You get your next beers on me.
But in all seriousness,
it's all about. It's like anything else. It's all about who you know. If you know the right people, you know the people that are pulling the trigger. It's like I posted on my Facebook page. I send out for college resume. I can't even talk about a high school job here in Rockford. I mean, you name over the last 4 years where I didn't want to go back overseas. I'm not going to name the schools, but there's been 10 schools that I sent my stuff to just because I'm like, yeah, I think I'll do this. I'll stay in the States. This is something I want to bring to success to, and this will be my next. I didn't even get callbacks. And you named the high school in this area. I didn't even get a call back. And I'm like, well, wait a second here.
Wait.
So it's all about who you know, and it's all about timing and a lot of luck.
And a lot of it's about, playing the politics and all that. And, one thing about you, no one doubts where they stand.
Yeah.
You're a plain-spoken guy, which I've always really found refreshing and cool.
Yeah, but that doesn't get you a lot of places.
Well, there is that side non-benefit to it. But,
exactly.
But, when people ask you a question, you answer it. You don't give the politically correct answer. You don't think of, all right, now, PR-wise, what should I say? You're an ask and answer guy.
It's funny because a good friend of mine was with an NBA team, and, he's no longer a friend, but we were on Twitter and we're talking, and then he started looking, and I was going to go to that NBA club where he pulls the trigger and work in their G League program because they wanted me to run their defensive sets and see what's going on with that. But he is such a political guy on his side, and my views that I posted sometimes, and it really caused a rift, and that kind of ended that, as crazy as it sounds. So
yeah, something completely non-related with what the job would be, but because we disagree on that point, I just can't have you aboard.
Yeah, I don't understand why people can't be friends and still have disagreements on views, but I guess that's our society these days.
Oh, more than. How many years were you with the Lightning?
I was head coach here 4 years. I was head coach. Highest winning percentage all time.
Yeah.
In Rockford Lightning history. And I wish the Lightning had never closed. When Wayne Tempe died, the Lightning closed their doors. And then I won there, or my teams won there. And then I went out to Minot for a couple years, and then I bounced around minor leagues, won some championships there. Then I went out to Thailand, where I think it was some 5 championships in the last 4 years. So we've had good success there.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of interesting. You send your resumes out, you don't even get callbacks. It's crazy.
But, Coach, what years were you with the Lightning?
Oh, I have to pull it up on my phone. If you really wanted the exact answer, I can't give it off the top of my head. But
I love that.
If I pulled it up on my phone, because actually I have every year that I coached and the records that I coached, because I saved them on my phone, because then I just shoot them off to different people.
Sure.
It's like a quick resume, bam. There's so many guys that lie on their resumes now, and people don't even check sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So I have it, whereas the last 25 years of my life, these years I was at Barrett College, went to the Final Four. These years I was with Lightning, went to the championship series. This year I was with Minot, went to the championship series, and it goes all the way down the line, all the way up to present day. So it hasn't helped me, but I think it's kind of cool to shoot it off.
And it will.
Coach, our friend Terry spilled the beans and said you will be traveling to Vegas here shortly to do some scouting. Is this a personal scouting trip? Are you hoping to form a report for somebody else?
No, agents call me, professional agents, they call me. And I'm doing one again in Orlando in October if I'm still here. But they call me and they want me to look at players to write recommendations for them to get overseas jobs. So they're going to fly me in. I leave on Monday. They're flying me in, putting me up at Circus, I think.
Nice.
Congrats.
And then I sit there for the week and I watch a bunch of bum players play. And then sometimes I make up stuff, sometimes I don't. And they use that to help them get jobs.
See what I mean about the plain spoken part?
But
That's good.
So that's what I got coming up next week. But it's good because it gets me out of the house. It gets me going with basketball. You might meet somebody. I'm trying to hook up to see some friends that I haven't seen in a long time. But, yeah, so it's Vegas next week just to evaluate players. Yeah.
Well, we have a prime evaluator here, and I'm glad you're here because there's a couple things I want to ask you about. The Bulls, the last couple days, have seemed to revamp their organization with some new players. You got Alonzo Ball coming in, DeMar DeRozan coming in, a couple of nice signings. Seems like the GM and Karnisovas seem to know what they're doing over there. What's your take on the Bulls' latest moves? Are they back? How much better are they from before? And where do we go from here?
Isn't it crazy how all these years of Garpax, there's very limited amount of movement, and now these new guys come in, and it's been constant movement or constant trying to upgrade and constant trying to win a championship. So for a Bulls fan, that's very refreshing. But I love the way Alonzo Ball runs the one. I think he pushes the ball well in transition. I think he makes the extra pass. I think he runs a good point guard. People have the knock about shooting, but even that, I think he's up to 38% from three, give or take. So even that's improving. So, and then David Caruso as a backup, I think is solid and a decent defender. So I think those are good. And DeMar DeRozan, obviously, you don't have to say anything beyond his name, and people know he's a superstar. Patrick Williams is a big three. They just don't have any bigs right now. They need to clean up their bigs, and if they can do that and just bring in some serviceable bigs, you're looking at the playoffs. And if you're in the playoffs, anything can happen.
And then one more Bulls question for me, and that's about their most recent draft pick, Ayo Dosunmu, the star out of Illinois. Did you get a chance to look at him when he was coming up, and what kind of player do you think he can be?
I haven't seen him that much because I've been with overseas. They give me a cable thing in my room, and it's sometimes it's tough to get. You get FS1, but if it's not on FS1, the games, I can't see it. So I really
Big
can't.
Ten Network doesn't come out there yet?
What's that?
Big Ten Network doesn't come out there yet?
No, it's not part of my package that they give me in my room.
All right.
So when I was in quarantine, it was great because I brought a Fire Stick, and a Fire Stick saved my life in quarantine.
I bet.
Yeah, Breaking Bad, Let's Call Saul. I went through all those quick. So, but I haven't been able to see much Illinois games.
Oh, and then, I have one more, too, about the new Lonzo Ball and the Ball family. Have you had any interaction with the father, Lamar Ball, in any place that you've gone? And do you know any good stories about him?
No, but we were supposed to play them. My Thailand team was supposed to play them. He was touring overseas, and we were supposed to play them. The youngest, was still in Australia, but he was touring with the others, and then the middle one who hasn't gotten a job yet. We were touring. We were setting everything all up, but they canceled like 1 week before they were supposed to arrive. Oh. So that's my story with that.
Okay. So not a huge fan of the Ball family.
Okay. The big thing with that is with those shoes, I always felt, because the owner of High Tech, he runs all the Nike. When you're wearing Nike gear and you see a tag on there that says made in Thailand, that's made right next door to my gym.
Oh.
So I get to see what happens with all the workers and everything else that float in there to do the Nike gear. So everything Nike is I see it right there before my eyes. And I said with this guy with these shoes, all I did was ship them off overseas, and somebody sewed them together and brought them back. If you really wanted to make an impact here in your country and really help people out with jobs and whatever, why didn't you make them right here, in the United States, like New Balance? Make things right here. I would be more supportive of that, especially for the outrageous price that you're paying for that shoe if it was made right here in the United States. But that wasn't the case. They went for the cheap route, and it was just a big money grab and a scam.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, all of us. Pause for a second to suspend our disbelief for a minute. We're just about out of time. Before we let you go, let's throw on the proud dad hat. You've tweeted out a couple of things. What about your daughter, right? Softball?
Yeah, she's finished now. She played at Carleton College.
But you put up a summary, I believe, of her career at one point on one of your tweets. And
yeah.
I thought it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, she's probably Carleton College is, Division III and a high academic school, but still I think she'll go in the Hall of Fame there as the highest or the best college player at that school. But we chose that school because of academics. But so I thought that was pretty good. Now she's going to vet school down at Illinois right now, so I got to start paying for that. So I need a job fast. So I'm practicing the whole ride up. Do you want fries with that, sir? That's
Would you like to supersize that?
Yes. So she's at Illinois, and then my son's graduate school. He's working. He won state, or his team won state for Rockford Christian.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the only team to do that from this area, and he's a graduate school up in Wisconsin and working at a cancer research center up in Wisconsin. So I don't have to pay for any more of his stuff.
No, he's covered.
Yeah, but I got to take care of the daughter now, so I gotta find a job fast.
Well, and, for people who would like to hire him right now for a nice high pay that'll get that daughter through graduate school, get right over to Twitter and look for him because you can follow him right there. Are you on Instagram? You on Facebook? You all over the place?
I'm on everything. I'm a social media sucker, I think.
I like what you have to say on social media.
Oh boy, my daughter gets mad at me. She says, "You can't stop posting these things. People are going to see it and hold it against you." But I really don't think I post all that major stuff. Just common sense things.
You do. No, I wouldn't think anything you post is incendiary. Not at all.
Okay.
Like you said, common sense. Now it may rub somebody the wrong way politically, but I've seen a whole lot worse from a lot of people who know a lot less.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome, Coach. We gotta take a break. Thanks for taking time and coming in here.
Oh, thank you very much for having me,
man. I've been a big fan of yours since you were back in the day, coaching the Lightning and all the way through. It's been fun to follow what you've been doing in Thailand, and don't be a stranger.
I anytime you guys call, I greatly appreciate it. I'm just sitting around.
Okay, so are we.